Up next, we have Bellevue Gold, and joining us, we have Darren Stralow, Managing Director and CEO. Mr. Stralow is a mining engineering graduate from the Western Australian School of Mines with over 20 years industry experience, predominantly in hard rock underground mining. He joined Bellevue over 3 years ago and has overseen the transition from explorer to developer and now to producer with one of Western Australia's newest large-scale, high-grade underground mining operations. Thank you, Darren.
No worries. Thank you very much for the kind introduction and the opportunity to speak at Diggers. It's always good to come back to Kalgoorlie. As you mentioned, I'm a proud Western Australian School of Mines graduate, and it feels like coming home every time I come here. Now, I'm pretty excited to present the Bellevue story this year, and I've actually got the opportunity to do two things that have never been done on the stage at Diggers before, so stand by for later in the presentation for when I can do that. We'll start with the disclaimers available on ASX. Look, just wanted to give a brief overview of Bellevue and where we are at the moment. So, we are a new mine up in the northern goldfields of Western Australia in a fantastic address. We're surrounded by mines that have been around for decades and will continue to be around for decades. And we've only been in production for about 18 months, and we see a big future ahead for Bellevue. We have a long mine life that we've defined, we've got great exploration prospects, and we're going to be growing production into fiscal 26, 27 and beyond. And it's something that we're all really excited about. We have spent a lot of time over the past few years building infrastructure and building a mine out. That build part of our lives is pretty much behind us now, and we're able to just start to hit our straps from an operational front and deliver growth into the market. This slide here shows some of that journey. So this is the mined tonnes from the mine on a quarter-by-quarter basis between when we started our ore development to now. And, when you do start up a mine, it's never a straight line. You want things to run at 100% from day one, and they often don't. And you learn a lot along the way. You reset, you look at things, and what we're happy to say now this year is, in the past, it's always been about, we're going to get more jumbos in, we're going to do more development per machine, we're going to, increase the ore tonnes, things are going to get bigger and better. What we're here saying this year is that all we need to do is just do the same rates that we're getting right now. We need the same tonnes that we're getting right now on a quarter-by-quarter basis, and that's what delivers our plan, because we have a strong mine life ahead of us. It's just about following the mining sequence, getting into the high-grade parts of the mine, and just doing exactly what we're doing. I'll jump to this one in a sec. So, just want to talk a bit about FY25 versus FY26. So, it was a big ramp-up year for us, FY25. When we started the year, we were still building significant infrastructure. We were dealing with a large rain event which flooded the old workings around our underground mine and affected our primary ventilation and other infrastructure. And we were also had to build a whole new mine on site called the Tribune Mine. We've done that over the past 12 months, and what we've seen is all of those capital projects have been delivered on. That new mining area is now in full production. And whilst we did experience some challenges last year, we did produce 130,000 ounces of gold. When you look forward into this year, we have a much stronger base that we're set up from. So, all of our mining areas are established, all of our life of mine infrastructure that we need to mine those areas has been built and complete. We're not a construction site anymore, we're just an operational site, and you can see that in the CapEx. So we spent 150 mil last year, we're spending 80 to 90 mil of CapEx in FY26. So as we get in there, the other side is Tribune as well. So we've now built this Tribune mine out and have it in full production. But look, I think there's nothing like seeing it in 3D. So I'll show you a bit of an overview of the mine, and you can see in blue there all of the development that has been done over the past 5 years or so since the portal was first cut in 2020. And you can see that weight of operations is trying to get deep down, and you can't cheat your way to depth. So we've done a hell of a lot of development to get these productive areas up and running. And the way to think about Bellevue, it is one mining operation, but it's actually 5 separate underground mines that you have to set up and get working all at once and land 5 planes at the same time. When you move into what we're doing now with the learnings that we've got, it's going to be a much smoother ride. And you can also see there, just from the amount of blue that's on the screen, there's a significant amount of development that we've had to put in, and development has been, the big story of Bellevue and the biggest driver. So, I thought I'd put up some slides just on development performance, and firstly, historically, what we've done on a per quarter basis, and this is based on the machines that we've had operating, and the development rate per jumbo per month, which is a good measure for us. And what you can see in the early days of Bellevue, we were getting a good run. This black line on here is the 270 metre per month rate, which is what we've used in our forward guidance. So consistently delivering above the line. We did something silly in December 2023 and turned on a process plant to try and make some money. And the operational focus turned from just purely development into development and production, and then coupled with a big rain event in January and March 2024, it caused some sort of ramp-up issues. And you can see it in the development here being that good leading indicator, where for calendar year 24, we were consistently below the line and the mine wasn't being built as fast as we would have liked and fast enough to meet our targets. The pleasing thing when you look at it is the exit rate. So as you get into calendar year 25, so the second half of FY25, we're consistently meeting those rates now and consistently above the line month in, month out, with a really strong exit rate in June of 311 metres per jumbo per month, and we actually did 340 metres in the month of July. So we're starting to see that increased performance. I said I'd do some new things. This is the first new thing. I'm going to explain underground mining to you using bell curves. So enjoy this bit. When you look at the first half of fiscal 25, which is the grey line on this page, what you can see is that we're achieving this circa 260 metre per jumbo rate that we have here, and it's a flat curve. So what that means is that you have high standard deviation. So we were getting under the rates that we wanted to get, and we weren't being consistent with our delivery throughout that period. By moving further to the right, and you can see the bell curve starting to tighten up, what we're doing is what we did in the second half, once we had all of our key infrastructure installed, is we're able to achieve those higher rates, so 8% higher development rate, but actually bring in that standard deviation. So we were getting better results on a more consistent basis. When you now plot the last 2 months on the black line on here, what you can see is we've actually really started to get that the operational cadence right and start to deliver on a day-by-day basis even better. So we've seen a 13% increase over those months from the second half of the year rate, and you can see it's tightened right up again. So more consistent, better results more of the time, and in fact in the month of July we had more days over the 350 metre per jumbo rate than we had under 300 metres per jumbo. So why that's significant for our guidance for 26 is that we've factored a 270 metre rate, and any extra development gets us to new mining areas, brings extra mine tonnes in, and will bring more ounces into the plan. So look, there's an overview of the mine. As I said, it's a large scale mine, 3 kilometres of strike, multiple different ore bodies, but we do have some favourite ore bodies, and they're probably worth talking about. There's the biggest and best ore body at Bellevue is called Deakin, and we're mining Deakin in 3 separate places, in Deakin, Deakin North and Marceline. You can see it's quite a significant ore body when you have a look at the ounce per vertical metre coming through it. So, we're right on top of the area of Deakin now, where it rises to 4, 5, 6,000 ounce per vertical metre. So we're really well set up as you come into this year and see those 3 mining areas moving into the high ounce per vertical metre areas, that we're going to start seeing better grade and therefore better production coming out of the mine at that same development rate. Viago's another one where this is a flat dipping lode, so high tonnes per vertical metre, high ounce per vertical metre. We're just coming in now to the top of that high OVM area of Viago, so that'll be a big driver of FY26 and FY27 tonnes and ounces. When you have a look at the drilling that we've got ahead of us, we have spent a lot of time in the last 6-12 months doing a lot of grade control drilling to really de-risk that ramp up and just make sure that there's no geological surprises as we get into the mining areas. It is quite a consistent ore body. It does pinch and swell as you chase it, through the lodes. And what we've done is really drill all of the areas of high geological complexity, just to really understand what we're getting into before we get in there. And it's been a massive focus for us, and will continue to be this year. So look, I encourage you to have a look at the presentation and see some of the absolutely world-class hits we have. That was Deakin Main. This is Viago, which will be a big contributor in the second half of 26. This is Deakin North, where we haven't actually hit the ore yet, and looks as good as Deakin Main, which will be in production in calendar year 2026. And then this is Tribune. So, Tribune was a small contributor last year. You can see just a couple of stopes that were done in the top level. They were done in the month of June. We're now going to have a full year of Tribune production. So, we're in a position now where, as I said, we've done a lot of the heavy lifting building the mine out. And as you flick through, the FY26, FY27, and then FY28 plan, you can see the benefit of all that setup that we've done, in that we're moving into more consistent mining areas where you have, 5 separate sort of areas that'll all be just well set up on echelon mining, consistent contributors to the plan as we go through. And, we've certainly got a lot of life ahead of us with, fully designed out into the 2030s, and lots of exploration success, I'm sure, in front of us. I'll talk a little bit about the processing plant. So, it's a new plant, 18 months old, built by GR Engineering. We have done a small upgrade on it, cost us about $14 million in the last couple of months. And that was really just, ironing out some, operational improvements that we needed to do. We do have some unique things at Bellevue in that, 100% of the ball mill discharge goes through the gravity circuit, and we get about 70% of the gold out of the gravity circuit. It's a very, very, very high pyrrhotite ore, so where the pyrrhotite is, the grade is. And when you get that high pyrrhotite going into the CIL, it consumes all the reagents, and if you don't catch it in the gravity circuit, you can end up putting leachable gold out to the tails dam. So what we did was we did a big upgrade to the gravity circuit and to the oxygen delivery system at the start of the CIL plant, and that's allowed us to oxidize. We'll first catch the reactive sulfides before they get to the CIL, but second, they're able to oxidize those reactive sulfides when they get into the CIL and increase our recovery. So we've gone from, you look 12 months ago where we had a high grade quarter but a low recovery quarter, so 90% recovery at a high grade. What's pleasing now, if you look into the month of June, we had the highest month of the year so far in the month of June, and we also had the highest recovery at about 95%. So we're in a position now where we are confident of being able to continually get high grade coming to the plant and continually achieve good production rates. And again, the FY26 guidance is based on a pretty conservative number that we're confident that we can beat. I didn't talk about the high pyrrhotite that's associated with the gold at Bellevue, and what that has done for us is give us a bit of a boost up when it comes to the underground exploration. So every single new lode in Bellevue was discovered through chasing up downhole EM targets. And for the non-geos in the room, downhole EM usually lights up in things like base metals deposits, which are high sulfides, not in gold deposits. But it works at Bellevue, and that's how we discovered the Viago lode. That's how we discovered Tribune. That's how we discovered Deakin. Was all through following up downhole EM targets. We do have a bunch of downhole EM targets that we still haven't drilled. Because we've been busy building the mine, because we've been busy doing grade control, we haven't had the opportunity to be able to turn the drills outwards and start chasing some of these downhole EM plates, which will be a big part of the next part of Bellevue's future. You have a look at the downhole EM plates and this southerly plunge of the ore body as it comes down that way. There's a whole bunch of downhole EM that just hasn't been drilled, and it's not because we don't want to drill it. It's just because we haven't had the drill platforms. And what you can see here is that as we build the mine out and as we go through FY26, we'll be building significant drill drive infrastructure in these sort of 3 key areas. What we're able to do from those drill platforms then is start to get the drills ready, drill depth extensions at Deakin, as I said, our best ore body, drill Deakin South targets from Viago, and then drill the whole southerly extent of the ore body from the southern drill drive. So, massive amount of opportunity for us to extend to the, already good mine life that we have. And look, we're in a district where there are certain mines around that have had a 3-year mine life for the past 30 years. So we're very confident that Bellevue's going to be around for a long time. You look in particular of some of that drill drive infrastructure that will be built in the next few years. There was 3 million ounces discovered here. This, whoops, excuse me, it didn't work. This whole area down there, whoops, why don't I stop doing that, is open and is something that we can target from underground. Now look, before I finish, those that have followed the Bellevue story for a long time will know that as an explorer moving into developer, there was a big focus on sustainability within the company. And like Tony was talking about when he was presenting Liontown before, we made some strategic decisions to build large renewable energy power stations. We had the benefit of new technology, a new build, and no available grid, and took the opportunity to build a really high technology, high renewable power station. So we've built this 90 megawatt hybrid power station. It's capable of running engines off, and we've had several occurrences over the past month where we have been running the mine at plus 50 to 60 hours at a time without turning any thermal sets on. So it's a really nice bit of infrastructure, and we're forecasting to be 80 to 90% renewable energy penetration, which will be the highest renewable energy penetration of any mine in Australia. But look, the other thing that we are announcing today is that as part of our strategy, we have been targeting net zero by 2026, which was ahead of the rest of the market. And we're here today to say that we've actually done it. So the first half of 2025, we have achieved net zero greenhouse gas emissions for the Bellevue Gold project. As I said, it's forecast to be the most renewably powered off-grid mine in Australia, and the way that we've been able to do that, we've increased the amount of renewables, we've decreased the amount of greenhouse gas emissions, we've looked for opportunities throughout the mining cycle to to reduce and eliminate carbon from what we do. And what it's allowed us to do is work with some like-minded partners to see if there is a benefit to that in terms of revenue. And look to sell our gold in a little bit of a different way. So to cover off on a bit of that stuff, I've got a video to show you.
Since the discovery drill hole in 2017, Bellevue's made rapid progress from an idea in the ground to a net zero gold producer. It's been a journey of rapid progress and conscious decisions to show what's possible when innovation and purpose come together. With a brand new mine and a strong gold environment with a unique value proposition, we're all very excited for the future of Bellevue.
At Bellevue Gold, we're very proud of what we're doing with this 27 megawatt solar farm and a 24 megawatt wind farm to be Australia's most renewably powered mine and the world's first net zero greenhouse gas emission gold mine. Being the first net zero gold producer is amazing and really paves the way for what that industry can do to decarbonise mines and to decarbonise the world, which we all need to do.
Sustainability has been a core focus to us as a company and is embedded in everything that we do. We have communicated our focus on it since we were an exploration company, all the way through development, while we were recruiting a workforce, while we were bringing on contract partners, and we've attracted a bunch of like-minded individuals that are all really excited to see the end product.
Jewellers want gold that is fully traceable, but is also on a journey towards decarbonisation. We believe that Bellevue Gold is absolutely world-leading in its decarbonisation of gold mining, and this is providing an incredibly exciting new source of gold.
I think that people are prioritising sustainable investments. People like premium products, but when you can see a product that you want to buy, be it in jewellery, be it in any other type of investment, having these positive ESG outcomes attached to it, it creates a product that people are going to want to own.
So what you've seen there is, a new mine in, a fantastic mining jurisdiction, producing a product that everyone should want to own, and after a significant reset in FY25, hopefully it's a stock that you want to own as well. Thank you.